Generally, we won't especially talk about gaming performance on a budget phone, because just like PC gaming, hardware decides everything. On the PC, you can DIY your console with autonomously choose components, including CPU, display cards, storage, and so on. But the smartphone doesn't have such a kind of autonomy due to the characteristics of highly integrated supply chain. In recent years, for phone CPUs as the decisive component, the choices are very limited. We've heard quite enough of Snapdragon 6 series, 7 series, and 8 series. Fortunately, in 2019, you probably can see better CPU competition as the MTK released their Helio G90T and Huawei got their self-developed Kirin 810 earlier. They are both positioning in the mid-range phone market. About their performance reference, both of them claimed a better gaming performance compared to the Snapdragon 730. So considering some models with Snapdragon 855, some reached a mid-range price. In this video, the CPU comparison selects the Snapdragon 855 and the other two rivals. The three candidates are the Redmi Note 8 Pro with Helio G90T, and Honor 9X with Kirin 810, and the Vivo iQOO with Snapdragon 855. But before we move into the results, it's necessary to inform you that though the cut of the Vivo iQOO makes it a mid-ranger, it's still the most expensive price level among the three. Okay, let's see what we got. The Redmi Note 8 Pro and the Honor 9X both use a 1080p LED display, while the iQOO uses an AMOLED display. As a result of display materials, the first two machines do not have the inter-screen fingerprint reader. The Note 8 Pro comes with a rear fingerprint reader, while the Honor 9X has a side reader. But talking about the unlock efficiency, the physical unlock experience, the Redmi Note 8 Pro and 9X unlock extremely fast, especially for the Note 8 Pro. Every touch click to simulate a real unlock feedback, which really recall the memory of the sliding unlock of the iPhone 4. The Redmi Note 8 Pro and the iQOO both equip a water notch display, while the Honor 9X has a full screen display without any notch. Although the water notch won't cause any discomfort when you play games after using it for a while, but indeed for some people the notch is just imperfectly right there. These three phones have a similar size. The Honor 9X is a bit heavier with the weight of 209 grams, while the other two weigh around 200 grams. Such slight difference may also cause a bit difference on gaming experience when users hold it for a long time. To give you guys a full picture of their performance, we test their CPU and GPU performance in the Geekbench 4 and the Antutu benchmark, and then we will go through some testing results in 4 games, which are the PUBG Mobile, NBA 2K20, the Asphalt 9 Legend, and Dominion Legend Bright Ridge. In Geekbench 4, it still helps the iQOO took the lead in the race. Scored over 3,400 points for single core and over 10,000 in the multi-core running. And the Redmi Note 8 Pro running the Helio G90T is pretty surprising that it is not left behind too much when compared with the Kirin 810 running on Honor 9X. Because you need to know that the Helio G90T is the first gaming CPU produced by MTK, who are continuously making the low-end CPU products. Though the multi-core performance, the Honor 9X was leading around 10% of the performance. We are still looking forward to their gaming comparison. In the Antutu benchmark, the results are much closer between the Honor 9X and the Redmi Note 8 Pro. They both scored over 280,000, while the figure for the iQOO is still over 410,000, still maintaining the leading position with remarkable advantage. Let's focus on some specific details through the whole testing process. The CPU temperature on the Redmi Note 8 Pro rose for 8.1 degrees Celsius, which makes us worried about its cooling performance if we'd move on to the gaming test. Another interesting detail is that the Redmi Note 8 Pro even performed better than the Honor 9X on the CPU score this round. As we analyzed, it's probably the result that the Redmi team intentionally adjusted the strategy when running such specific benchmark. For the GPU performance, the most important hardware for gaming, the Note 8 Pro and the 9X scored around 81,000 or 79,000 respectively. To exactly reflect their practical performance, it's not enough if we just look at these figures. So here the gaming test comes. The first game we tested is the PUBG Mobile. The graphics setting and highest frame rate were both set to the highest level. Without surprise, the iQOO is super smooth when playing match, and only got obvious fluctuation when jumping between the lobby and the match ground. Well, for the Note 8 Pro, sometimes it can reach the highest frame rate of 60 FPS. But it really got remarkable fluctuations during the whole games, especially when having fight with enemies outdoors. Finally, the average frame rate remained at 49 FPS. It's a pretty good result after we have seen so many budget phones that can't even reach 30 FPS in our test. For the Honor 9X, the frame rate of 55 FPS did achieve better experience for our testing gamers, but from the resolution detected by the testing software, It seems that the PUBG Mobile did not adapt the highest resolution on the Honor 9X. The second game is the NBA 2K20. The Honor 9X surprisingly reached the similar highest performance with the iQOO, while the iQOO fluctuated less. I think the reason here is that the 2K20 didn't require the full performance of iQOO. For the Redmi Note 8 Pro, still the same problem. It fluctuated for over 8 FPS averagely, but according to our testing gamer, it didn't cause much laggy feeling during the testing process. So maybe the Helio G90T still have potential to optimize its stability from the software update. The third game we tested is the Asphalt 9 Legends. In this round, the first place was taken by the Honor 9X with a frame rate of 56 FPS and less fluctuation. But again, the rendering resolution of Honor 9X was downgraded to a level at around 720p. For the iQOO, the test achieved 52 FPS, which is smooth as well. And the Redmi Note 8 Pro got a score of average 37 FPS and fluctuated a lot when jumping in and out between every single race and lobby. But it still indicated that the Redmi Note 8 Pro is also ready for the Asphalt 9, one of the latest games. The last game is Nemean Legend. We prefer to call it a stress test because it has a high freedom to adjust the graphics to a PC level. With applying the highest graphics settings, we can specifically see their gaps between each other. The iQOO returned to first place with a frame rate of 34 FPS, while the Honor 9X had a 26 FPS frame rate, which is also not bad. For the Note 8 Pro, the game made it feel quite large stress, and finally it remained at the low level of 14 FPS. During our test, the highest temperatures for the front face and the rear of the iQOO are 44.7 degrees Celsius and 43.3 degrees Celsius, while the figures for the Honor are 43.1 and 42.7. Surprisingly, the Redmi Note 8 Pro has the best cooling effect and reached lowest temperatures for both front and back. Beyond all the tests above, we also want to know how fluent their systems are. So overall, the results did not surprise us, because we know that the Redmi Note 8 Pro is the latest budget phone with a totally new CPU. It was designed for those gamers who may not have enough budget for a gaming phone. Absolutely, it's ready for most phone games and sometimes can reach a flagship level performance in specific games. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like our channel, please give us a thumbs up and press the subscribe button. It really means a lot for us to keep doing it. Thank you. This is Gizmo China. I'm Kieran. We'll see you next video.